Good morning, boys and girls. It's so great to be back doing second grade math with you today. I am Miss Payne, and I'm excited to get started today and finish up what we started on Monday. So I hope that you are ready to learn some addition with regrouping today. All right, so that is what we are going to do today. If you remember our standard from the other day on Monday, our standard says, I can use strategies to add numbers within 1,000 and know when to regroup. That's the part that we're going to work on today, that regrouping part. So let's review real quick some things that we've learned over the last week or so. So let's talk about those math words. Some of those math words that we learned, I want you to think really hard, put that thinking cap on. What were some of those words that we talked about that were math words that we needed to know? All right, good. Yes, I think I heard digit. Digit is an important word. We talk about digits a lot when we're doing addition and with place value. What was another one of those important words? Place value was one. We also talked about expanded form. And there's a new important word that you just heard me say that we need to talk about today, and that is regrouping. Regrouping, that's going to be our important word of the day. Have you heard of regrouping before? You may have actually done some regrouping when you were doing some two-digit addition and subtraction. Well, today we're going to use that regrouping with our three-digit addition. So let's warm up our brains and think about this problem. There are 236 animals that live in the first part of a zoo. There are 152 animals that live in the second part of the zoo. How many animals live in both parts? So I want you to think, how could you solve that problem? Think about what we talked about on Monday and think about how you could solve this problem. If you have a piece of paper and a pencil, that would be great because you're going to need that today. So think about how you would solve that problem. So there's many different strategies that you could use. What were some of the strategies that we talked about to add three-digit numbers? That's right, I think I heard someone say the base 10 strategy, and that is right. That was one of the strategies that we talked about. Base 10, where we could make a quick picture and draw our base 10 blocks, or we could actually use our base 10 blocks. Another one was expanded form. The other strategy we talked about was an open number line. And we also talked about decomposing numbers. Now, we used those strategies to add, but we did not have to regroup. Do you know that you can use these same strategies to add three-digit numbers with regrouping? So that's what we are going to do today. We are going to talk about some regrouping. So this is going to be the problem that we are going to focus on right now. There are 476 rocks and 148 minerals in a museum display. What is the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? So when we think about this problem, the first thing we need to think about is, what do we need to know? What do we want to find out? We want to find out the total number of rocks and minerals in the display. So what do we know from looking at the problem? We know that there are 476 rocks, and how many minerals are there? 148. So what do we need to do with those two numbers to be able to find the total number of rocks and minerals in the display? That's right, we need to put those numbers together. And remember, we talked about the other day with addition. If you put numbers together, do you get a bigger number or do you get a smaller number? That's right, you will get a bigger number when you put those two numbers together. So let's write our two numbers down. If you have a piece of paper, I want you to do this with me. So we're going to write down our two numbers so we know that we need to put 476 together with 148. What's that symbol that we use right here to show addition? That's right, we use a plus sign. We want to say 476 plus 148. So we want to put those two numbers together. So what strategy do you think that we should start out with. So if we are going to solve this problem, I think that we should start out with the base 10 strategy. So we can do that. So I know that you probably don't have base 10 blocks at home, but remember the draw a picture. So we're going to do it both ways. I'm going to start out with the base 10 blocks because I want to be able to show you how we regroup. Okay, so first we want to build this number. Actually, first what I want to do and what I want you to do is we're going to draw a place value chart. All right, so I want you to draw on your paper a place value chart. We did this the other day. Remember, we made 3 sections for our hundreds, our tens, and our ones. All right, so draw that on your paper. Now, we're going to build these 2 different numbers on our hundreds chart. So we're going to build 476, and down here we're going to build 148. So let's start out with 476. If I wanted to build 476, how many hundreds would I need? How many of these big squares would I need? All right, I would need 4 of these big squares. I don't have a whole lot of room, but I'm going to go ahead and just put them up here like this. So I need 4 hundreds. So 1, 2, 3, 4 hundreds. All right, how many tens would I need? That's right, I would need 7 of these sticks. So we're going to build our 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I have 7 tens. All right, did you draw your 7 sticks in your tens place? You probably have more room than me if you're just drawing squares and sticks. All right, and then how many ones do we need? That's right, we need 6 ones. So let's put our ones in our ones place. And now we've built the first number of our problem. All right, so there's 6 ones. So we have 4 hundreds, 7 tens, and 6 ones. All right, our second number that we're going to add together with 476 is 148. So how many hundreds do I need? That's right, 100. How many tens do I need? What digit do you see in the tens place? Oh, good, I heard somebody say 4. All right, I see 4 tens. And then how many ones? We have more ones in this number than we do in our other numbers. So we need 8 ones. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now, what do you think that we would need to do if we wanted to put these 2 numbers together? How could we find out a total? That's right, we could put them all together and count how much do we have here now. So let's look at our hundreds place. How many hundreds do you see all together on my hundreds chart? I see 5 hundreds. That's right, so we have 5 hundreds. So I'm going to write 500 because that 5 is worth 500. Let's count how many tens we see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tens. How much is 11 tens worth? What's the value of 11 tens? What's a way that we could find out what that value is? Well, we could count by tens. We could say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. So we have 110 in our tens place. And now how many ones do we have? We have a good bit of ones, don't we? Let's count our ones together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 ones. All right, so looking at what we have up here, we have 500 plus 110 plus 14. What's one way we could find that total? Well, we could add all of those numbers together. That's one way we could do it. But what do I notice about this? So in my hundreds chart, what number would I put here for the hundreds? Well, I would put a 5. But then when I go here, I counted and there were 11 tens. Can I have 2 digits in one place value? I cannot have 2 digits in one place value, so we're going to have to talk about that. And then what about here? I have 14. 14 ones? Can we do that? Can we put 14 in the ones place? So this is where that regrouping comes in. So let's do that. Let's regroup. So I know that if I have 14 ones, what could I do to make it to where I did not have 2 digits in one place value? Well, I can look at 14 and I know that 14 has how many ones? 4 ones and 1 10. Well, I can trade out, I can regroup. I can take 10 of these ones, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can take 10 of these ones and what can I do? Well, I can trade them for a 10. So I'm going to take these ones out and I'm going to put a 10 in the tens place. So I can trade those ones in for a 10. So now I only have 4 in the ones place. Is that okay? Can we have 1 digit in the ones place? We can. So I'm going to take that 1 out and I'm going to show that we only have 4 in the ones place. Uh-oh, but what about my 10s? I added another 10. I already had too many. I added another one, so that would be 12. Can I have 12 in the tens place? My number's still not going to look right. So what will I need to do? Well, can I regroup again? I can regroup again. So let's count up our tens. So I only can have how many tens in this place value? I can't have more than 9. So, what would I need to do? Let's see, I would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what could I trade these 10 tens for? First of all, how much is 10 tens worth? Do you know how much 10 tens is worth? That's right, it's worth 100. If we counted these out by tens, we would get 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I'm going to put these tens right here and I'm going to take another 100. And I'm going to put that in my hundreds place. My number is looking so much better now. So now instead of 12 tens, how many tens do I have? That's right, I have 2 tens, so I can change that, and now I only have 1 digit here. And how many hundreds do I have? I have 6 hundreds. So now I can put my answer to 476 plus 148 would be 624. 624. So that would be the total amount of rocks and minerals that are on display at the museum. So we just did a problem with regrouping. So that is one way that we can solve a problem with regrouping. We know that we can't have more than 2 digits in a place value. So when that happens, we have to regroup. So let's practice another way. Since you don't have base 10 blocks, let's show what it would look like if we were just drawing a picture, because maybe you were drawing a picture while we were working it out. So let's do that. So we would just draw, just like we said the other day, a quick draw, because this is probably going to be one of the best ways for you to solve some of these problems with regrouping. That, and I think another good way to do it would be the open number line, which we'll look at in a second. So let's draw our hundreds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we had 7 tens, sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how quick that is to draw those sticks? And then dots for the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we have that number, and then you might have drawn this on your place value chart. So we have 4 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 8 ones. So it takes a lot less time to draw that out than it does to use those place value blocks. All right, so now if we wanted to regroup, we would look at this and see, well, that's too many altogether. So I'm going to cross out what I don't need. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I cross all those out and I move them and I add one more 10 over here. So now I'm good with my 4 ones, so I have 4. So over here, remember we had too many 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, we had to take 10 of those and trade them out for 100. So we're going to cross out 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to add 100 over here. So now drawing the picture was so quick and easy. So we have 6 hundreds, 2 10s, and 4 ones, which brings us to the same answer of 624. So that is fantastic. That's a great way to solve that problem. All right. Good job, guys, on solving that problem with me. Let's look at another way to solve the problem. Now, if you use a different strategy to solve this problem, should you get the same answer every time? You should. It doesn't matter what strategy you use. If it's a good strategy and it works, then you should get the same answer for every strategy you use. So let's try that open number line. We're going to do this problem with the open number line, and then we will let you practice one on your own. All right, so our same problem was 476 plus 148. Now, we want to see if we get the same answer using the open number line strategy. All right, so we draw a big open number line. And remember, we talked about the other day on Monday, if we draw an open number line, which number do we want to start with at the end? The bigger number. So we're going to start with that bigger number, which is 476. And then if you remember, we just jump by place value. So we're going to jump up with this number. So how many hundreds do we need to add on our open number line? Just 100. And if we add 100, remember our hundreds place is the only one that changes. So that becomes 576. How many 10s do we need to jump up? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to write 10 just to show that that was what we were doing. So now the only place that's going to change right now is our tens place. So we go 586, 596. 596 plus 10. That's not as easy to jump up. We might have to really think about that one. So if I was going to change this, what would I have to do? That's right, the hundreds place is going to change too. So it's going to be 606 and then 616. So now we're to 616, but we haven't added our ones yet. So now we're just going to jump up with those ones. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we just count up. 617, 618, 619, 620, 621, 622, 623, and 624. So did we get the same answer using the open number line strategy? We did, which is perfect because that is what is supposed to happen. If you're using different strategies, you want to make sure that you're getting the right answer every time. And you know, you can use different strategies to check your work. So that's a good thing to do. If you're not sure about, if you do the base 10 strategy or the draw a quick picture strategy and you're not sure about your answer, well, you could go in and do an open number line just to make sure that you have the right answer. All right, so we talked about a question when we left off on Monday, and it was, do you always have to add the hundreds, then the tens, then the ones? Well, this says you can add hundreds, then tens, then ones. So you see how they did. They did 4 plus 1, which was 500, 400 plus 100, 70 plus 40, which equaled 110, which we had up here a second ago, and then 6 plus 8, which was 14. And then they added all of those numbers together and they ended up with the answer of 624. But then look here. What did they do on this one? It says you can add ones, then tens, then hundreds. Will you get the same sum if you do it this way? It looks like it. So they did 6 plus 8 is 14, 70 plus 40 is 110, and then 400 plus 100 is 500. And then they add them up and they will get the same number. Now, sometimes it's easier to do hundreds, tens, and ones if you're doing them in a long way, because it's easier to see the numbers. So you just kind of have to do what feels right for you as long as you get the correct answer every time. All right, so looking at this, we can kind of make connections and think about what we just did. So it says write the number of ones, tens, and hundreds. So looking at this at the top, how many ones were in that number? That's right, we had 14 ones, because remember, we had to put 14 ones all together. And then we ended up with 11 tens and 5 hundreds. And they're just telling you, you can regroup when you have 10 or more ones or 10 or more tens, which is what we just did using our base 10 blocks. We regrouped, and then we were able to see what we had. So down here, they wrote it out for you. They wrote 14, 110, and 500. But we knew that we could not put those numbers like that in one number. We would have had a crazy number that it didn't make sense because the digits wouldn't have been right. The value would have been incorrect. So looking at problem 2, looking here, we can write the total number of ones, tens, and hundreds after regrouping. So after we regrouped, how many ones did we have? That's right, we had 4 ones. And then how many tens did we have? We had 2 tens, and then we had 6 hundreds because we regrouped and we got the answer of 624. All right. Okay, so I want you to look back at your try it strategies, which is what we just did. We tried 2 different strategies. We did the open number line and we did the base 10 blocks. And I want you to think about which one of those do you like best? Because next week on Monday, guess what we're going to start doing? We're going to start subtracting with regrouping. So we've done some addition with 3 digits, we've done some addition with regrouping, and then next week we're going to move into some subtraction and we're going to practice some more addition. But I know at home you can practice some 3-digit additions. It's real easy to make up addition problems. You can just make up some numbers and make you some number cards and write out some addition problems. Write this problem down before we go. 649 plus 184. All right, I want you to write that problem down and I want you to try that problem, and we will go over that when I see you guys on Monday. We had a great day of learning today. We are doing a lot in a short amount of time, and I am so glad that you tuned in to watch today, and I hope that you learned something about addition with regrouping, and I will see you next time.